Readings from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 2, Hiranyakashipu, King of the Demons. Yesterday my spiritual master spoke on the verse number 58, and today I am going to speak on 59 and 60. And I seek the blessings of all the Vasambal Vaishnavas, Srila Prabhupada, and my spiritual master, so that I'll be able to speak on some pages of Bhagavatam. I have two verses. Verse number 60 is on the board. I'll read 59 and the translation also. I'll read myself and we can read 60 together. Yamaye tat uphakyaya tatraivantaradhiyata jnatayo hi suyajnasya chakruryat samparayikam. Translation: after instructing all the foolish relatives of Suyajna, Yamaraj, in the form of a boy, disappeared from their vision. Then the relatives of King Suyajna performed the ritualistic funeral ceremonies. Now we have verse number 60, which is on the board. Atas shochatamayuyam param chatmanameva va ka atma kah paro vatra sviya parakya eva va swaparabhiniveshena vina ajnanena dehinam ath shochatamayuyam param chatmanameva va ka atma kah paro vatra sviya parakya eva va swaparabhiniveshena vina ajnanena dehinam ath shochatamayuyam param chatmanameva va ka atma kah paro vatra sviya parakya eva va swaparabhiniveshena vina ajnanena dehinam. One Prabhus and one Vaishnav, because of lack of time. Atha shochatamayuyam param chatmanameva va ka atma ka paro vatra sviya parakya eva va swaparabhiniveshena vina ajnanena dehinam. Atha shochatamayuyam param chatmanameva va ka atma ka paro vatra sviya parakya eva va swaparabhiniveshena vina ajnanena dehinam. Atha, therefore, shochata, lament for, ma, do not, yuyam, all of you, param, another, cha, and atmanam, yourself, eva, certainly, va, are, kaha, who, atma, self, kaha, who, para, other, va, are, atra, in this material world, sviyaha, one's own, parakya, for others, eva, indeed, va, are, swapara abhiniveshena, consisting of absorption in the bodily concept of oneself and others. Vina, besides, ajnanena, the lack of knowledge, dehinam, of all the embodied living entities. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Please repeat. Therefore, none of you should be aggrieved for the loss of the body, whether your own or those of others. Only in ignorance does one make bodily distinctions, thinking, who am I? Who are the others? What is mine? What is for others? Purport. In this material world, the conception of self-preservation is the first law of nature. According to this conception, one should be interested in his personal safety and should then consider society, friendship, love, nationality, community, and so on, which have all developed because of the bodily conception of life and a lack of knowledge of the spirit soul. This is called ajnana. As long as human society is in darkness and ignorance, men will continue to make huge arrangements in the bodily conception of life. This is described by Prahlad Maharaj as bharam. In the materialistic conception, modern civilization makes enormous arrangements for huge roads, houses, mills, and factories, and this is man's conception of the advancement of civilization. People do not know, however, that any time they themselves may be kicked out of the scene and forced to accept bodies that have nothing to do with these enormous houses, palaces, roads, and automobiles. Therefore, when Arjuna was thinking in terms of his bodily relationship with his kinsmen, Krishna immediately chastised him, saying, Kutastva kashmalamidham vishame samupastitam anaryajustam ashvargyam akhitikaram Arjuna. This bodily conception of life is befitting the Anaryans, the non-Aryans who are not advanced in knowledge. An Aryan civilization is a civilization advanced in spiritual knowledge. Not merely by stamping oneself an Aryan does one become an Aryan. To keep oneself in the deepest darkness concerning spiritual knowledge and at the same time claim to be an Aryan is a non-Aryan position. In this connection, Srila Madhvacharya quotes as follows from the Brahma Vaivarta Purana. Ka atma kah paraiti dehadyapekshaya nahi dehadirātmasyan nacha shashrur udhiritaha ato daihika vriddhau va kshaye va kim prayojanam yastu dehagato jivaha shahinasham na gacchati tata shatru vivruddhau cha svanashe shochanam kutaha देहादिव्यतिरिक्तौ तु जीवेशौ प्रतिजानता अत आत्मा विवृद्धिस्तु वासुदेवे रथि स्थिरा शत्रुनाशस्तत ज्ञान नाशो नान्यः कथाञ्चन. The purport is that as long as we are in this human form of body, our duty is to understand the soul within the body. The body is not the self. We are different from the body, and therefore there is no question of friends, enemies, or responsibilities in terms of the bodily conception of life. One should not be very anxious about the bodies changing from childhood to boyhood, from boyhood to old age, and then to apparent annihilation. Rather, one should be very seriously concerned about the soul within the body and how to release the soul from the material clutches. The living entity within the body is never annihilated. Therefore, one should surely know that whether one has many friends or many enemies, his friends cannot help him, and his enemies cannot do him any harm. One should know that he is a spirit soul, Aham Brahmasmi, and that the constitutional position of the soul is unaffected by the changes of the body. In all circumstances, everyone as a spirit soul must be a devotee of Lord Vishnu and should not be concerned with bodily relationships, whether with friends or with enemies. One should know that neither we ourselves nor our enemies in the bodily conception of life are ever killed. Om Tat Sat. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna. So in this chapter, 7th canto, chapter 2, Hiranyakashipu, king of the demons. After the death of Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu is consoling his sister-in-law, his mother, Diti, and Rishabhanu, his sister-in-law and the nephews. And in this context, he is telling a story of a king called Suyagnya. We all seen in these days of this chapter. And finally, after telling this story, all the relatives of Suyagnya, they came into normal life. They understood that all these things are material and they are all temporary. It's nothing to do with these things. And then the funeral rites were performed. That is text number 59. And Yamaraj, who came in the form of a boy to instruct this philosophy, he also disappeared from the vision. And later the funeral rites for King Suyagnya was performed. And the next verse, Hiranyakashipu is again telling. So having told this story to his relatives, and he said, now in this condition, we do not have to worry about this body. So we have to think about who am I and what are others. Like Atma Tattva. Hiranyakashipu is explaining about Atma Tattva in these chapters. So in this context, yesterday my spiritual master was telling about the importance of human life, having got the very precious, valuable human life. And Maharaj was quoting about the conversation between Yamaraj and Dharmaraj on the enchanted pool, near the enchanted pool. And what is most what is Asharyam, wonderful thing. He was explaining like what is most wonderful. Like everyone thinks that everyone is passing their life, but I will be alive. And Maharaj is quoting this. Same way, we all got this human form of life, and we may be thinking like, yeah, that death for everyone, but I will be alive forever. And sometimes when our close relative passes away, maybe that seriousness comes, that moment, that smashana vairagya comes, oh, now I should be very serious in my spiritual life. So now I have seen how my relatives are passing away like this. So now I should take up this seriously. But the next day what happens? The duty comes in so many things and we forget this. It's called as smashana vairagya. And having got this human life and wasting this human life and doesn't use this human form of life in self-realization, that is defined as Atmaha, means the soul-killing civilization. The Atmaha is mentioned in two verses. One is in the Ishopanishad Mantra 3 and the other one is in the 11th canto where Krishna instructs Uddhava. The one Atmaha which is mentioned in Ishopanishad is Asurya Nama Te Loka Andena Tamasavrataha Tamste Pratyabhigachanti Eke Chatma Hanojanaha. Prabhupada says, the killer of the soul, we see in the Bhagavad Gita that soul cannot be killed, soul cannot be burnt, so many things about the characteristics of the soul. But how can the soul can be killed? But the soul can be killed when, if we don't utilize this human form of life in progressing in our devotional service, then it is considered as Atmaha. And Prabhupada uses the word, perpetually they will be gliding towards the darkest region of ignorance. Perpetually means there is no one can say when they will come out. It is perpetual, it is continuous. So the killer of the soul, whoever he may be, will be cast into the ocean of darkness covered with ignorance. And the next Atmaha is Krishna instructs in the Uddhava in Bhagavatam, 11th canto. This human form of life, the human body is considered to be a strong boat. And the instructions of the spiritual master are the favorable breezes, and also the instructions of the Supreme Lord Krishna. The instructions of the spiritual master is acting as a captain of the ship. And all these facilities of the human body, with all these facilities, with favorable breezes, if we don't utilize this human form of life, then it is considered as Atmaha, the soul-killing civilization. In the same context, the sages of Naimisharanya, when they met Suta Goswami, they consider Suta Goswami as the captain of the ship. With his instructions, they will be able to cross this ocean of Kali. The same way, we have our captain, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, that he is the captain of the ship, and we have all these instructions in the form of his purports. And with these instructions, if we follow it as it is and not diluting in the name of innovation, if we take these words as it is, and definitely we will be able to cross this ocean of Kali. The same way how the sages of Naimisharanya glorified Suta Goswami. Tvamna sandarshisho dhatra dustaram nisti tirsatam kalim sattvaharam tumpumsam. This Kali, this iron age of Kali will destroy the good qualities, haram pumsam. It destroys the good qualities of human. Salim sattva haram pumsam karnadhara ivarnavam. So he is the captain of the ship. So the same way, our captain is His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And all his words are there wonderfully in his purports. You name it, you get it. Whatever topics, social, philosophy, politics, everything, and how to live a grahastha life, what a husband should give as a gift to his wife, is mentioned in the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and what not is mentioned in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam and all his purports. So having said this, Srila Prabhupada here, he makes a wonderful statement that to keep oneself in the deepest darkness concerning spiritual knowledge, and at the same time claim to be an Aryan, is a non-Aryan position. So it's befitting that we claim to be a devotee, but if we don't follow so many principles of a devotional service which has to be followed by a devotee, then our position is like this. In the name devotee, but not devotee. That's what Prabhupada is explaining here. To keep oneself in the deepest darkness concerning spiritual knowledge, and at the same time claim to be an Aryan, is a non-Aryan position. So our goal of life is devotional service. We all walk towards the path of devotional service. And Kapila Dev very nicely mentioning in the 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, in Kapila Shiksha, that since we are in the conditioned world, in the material world, we are along with the material modes. So even while we perform devotional service, it is mixed with modes. It is not pure devotional service. So it's like this. We are all walking towards the destination of pure devotional service. We are walking on the path. So while we walking in a general way, like in general sense, while we walking, like we have a one-pointed attention, we walk fast. Our aim is only to reach the destination. But what happens, there are so many things on the both the sides when we walk. So when we look at those sides, so many things, material desires, name, fame, position, distinction, so many other things. When we get carried away, so when we see those things, our speed gets reduced. Then the focus, we lose the focus. We no longer walk towards this side. Our eyes are not this side. Maybe one, like the corner of the eye may be on this side, but our focus is on this side. And sometimes what happens, we have the experience of walking in a treadmill. In a treadmill, we can set the speed on how much speed I want to walk. So in that case, what happens is, it seems like when we keep the speed in a highest mode, then we are walking very fast according to the speed of the treadmill. But what happens is, seemingly I'm progressing in my position, name, fame, etc., etc. But the treadmill, what happens? I'm not advancing. It seems like I'm walking faster, running faster according to the speed of the treadmill, but I'm not progressing. I'm stuck in the same place. But it seems that I'm progressing. So that's what happens with us. Like, we get carried away by these position, name, fame, or whatever attractions of the material world. No longer the focus is in progressing in devotional service. And that's what Kapila Dev instructs in Kapila Shiksha, that there are devotional service in 3 modes. The first one, Kapila Dev explains the devotional service in the mode of ignorance. When devotional service is performed in the mode of ignorance, the devotee is angry, the devotee is violent, and the devotee himself thinks that, yes, I'm the wonderful devotee, I'm the best devotee. And that the devotional service in this mode is mode of passion. It is not pure devotional service. And the next thing is devotional service in the mode of passion. The mode of passion, as we discussed this, name, fame, performing devotional service to attain name, fame, position, and so many things. And when there is some little disturbance, since we don't have the focus on devotional service, then we get disturbed. Like, and so, like, yesterday was this, today I'm not here. That means, like, we feel that our focus is no longer devotional service. We get disturbed. Because we are not focused. That focus is not there. That is devotional service in the mode of passion. And devotional service in the mode of goodness is to free oneself from the inabilities, to free oneself from karma. Prabhupada mentions as karmarpanam in the purport to this shloka. Prabhupada mentions as karmarpanam. It's not for the pleasure of Krishna. I'm doing devotional service so that I will be free from my karma, from the inabilities. So devotional service in that mode is devotional service in mode of goodness. And Kapila Dev explains that these 3 are not pure devotional service. It's mixed devotional service. And how to come to this pure devotional service? Kapila Dev explains further that one should not be envious, proud, non-violent, and should not be angry. And we perform our devotional service properly, our prescribed duties properly, and greatest respect to the spiritual master and acharyas. When it comes to greatest respect to spiritual master and acharyas, then the instructions of the acharyas. It's not like I will take this instruction of Srila Prabhupada from here and this is not befitting me, so I don't have to take it. No, all the instructions are for everyone. We are meant to follow each and everything mentioned in the purport, and according to our role as devotee. Either it can be a Prabhu or it can be a Mataji, and whatever role is befitting, as Prabhupada mentions, we are supposed to follow. And be compassionate to poor, make friendship with equals. And one more thing is doing our devotional service under regulation and controlling the senses. When it comes to regulation, the devotional service, whatever service we may be performing, it may look like small, big, or just in the periphery, but there's nothing called as a big service or small service. Everything is devotional service as long as we have a right mood to perform devotional service. And the commitment to perform that service is very important. The commitment to Supreme Lord, the commitment to my spiritual master, the commitment to previous acharyas, the commitment to Srila Prabhupada, the commitment to Mahaprabhu. I am doing this service. I am committed to myself. In a material civilization, what happens is we are working outside. Our each and every hour of working matters. Okay, this much work he has done. Okay, he can be given this much salary. But in spiritual life, there is nothing. Only we have to measure ourselves. Like the Lord always watching us, and we are responsible for us. How committed I am in doing my service. It may be a small or big for looking from outer side, but it's nothing small or big. One has to see according to one's own capacity. Whatever service I am able to do, one has to be committed to that service. It's not like casual devotional service. I remember in one lecture, Geeta Nagari Prabhu was mentioning, if we do casual devotional service, we can expect casualties. So we should not be doing casual devotional service. We have to be committed in doing our devotional service, because that is the one which is going to take us towards Krishna. And that service, it is very important. The commitment, it should never be seen as just careless or like, oh, I have to do like, it should not be like this. That mood should not be like this. It has to be commitment, like how a man takes responsibility when he marries a woman. That commitment, whatever comes, that was the marriage vow says, whatever comes, I am responsible for this lady throughout my life. The same way a chaste lady makes this promise in front of Agni Dev and all the witnesses and all the 33 crore demigods that I will be chaste to this man for my life. So that is commitment, and that sort of commitment has to be there when we perform devotional service. It's not a material activity. Somebody measures how much I did, what I did today. That we can measure ourselves. We can be committed to our own spiritual life. It is not like somebody else's spiritual life. It is my spiritual life, and which is this life which is going to take me towards Krishna. So this commitment is very important. So in this context, in fact, I forgot to mention this again, this Kapila Shiksha. Kapila Dev explains that these three devotees who are performing devotional service in these mixed modes, that is passion, ignorance and goodness, they are all called as separatists. Why they are called as separatists? Because they have a separate interest which is away from Krishna. The pure devotional service is to pleasing Krishna, to satisfy Krishna. My interest and Krishna's interest are same. But here in a separatist mentality, what happens is, my interest is separate from the Lord. My goal is separate from the Lord. So that is why Kapila Dev called this a separatist mentality. You should not, the Sanskrit word Prabhupada explains, it is bhinnadrik. It should not be bhinnadrik. It should not be separate. So this is separatist. So in this context, Srila Prabhupada mentions in teachings of Lord Chaitanya, there are two words which a devotee should be having. These two words in Sanskrit. One quality, he is explaining in Sanskrit words. One is dhriti and the other one is shama. Dhriti comes from the word dhira, or dhira comes from the word dhriti. Means tolerance. One has to be tolerant when it comes especially to the control of the senses. That's what Kapila Dev also explains, that while executing our devotional service, it has to be executed under regulation and with control of the senses. Having said this, Kapila Dev also says that one has to be constantly hear about his glories, chanting about him, and the most important is one's behavior. One has to be straightforward in his behavior and no kutinati. One has to be straightforward in all circumstances and simple. This is very important. These are the following the four shlokas or the ways how we can come out from these mixed modes of devotional service. One is the greatest respect to the spiritual master and previous acharyas, doing prescribed duties under regulation with control of senses and commitment to devotional service, executed with regulation, no envy, no violence, and should not be proud, and also always hearing and chanting, being simple and should be straightforward. This is more important. And doing our prescribed duties, very important. Sometimes we may say, yes, Krishna consciousness is transcendental, so we don't have to do our duties. We are not in this level. transcendental position. So there may be a chance of rejecting the prescribed duties. But as long as we are in the modes, we have to perform our prescribed duty. Srila Prabhupada explains very clearly in 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita that as long as we are in the modes, we are supposed to do our prescribed duty. Without profit, we are supposed to do our devotional service without expecting any profit. Then it becomes devotional service in the mode of passion. Devotional service has to be executed in renunciation. Kapila Dev again mentions it has to be in the mode of goodness. It has to transcend even the mode of goodness. It has to be done in the mode of renunciation, not with a grudge or not expecting anything in return. In the mode of renunciation, one has to execute his devotional service. And also Kapila Dev mentions another important thing is deity worship. Looking at the form of the Lord, worshipping his paraphernalia, offering everything worshipable. These are all the things which helps us to come out from this mixed modes of devotional service, which will help us to come towards pure devotional service. And main thing is spirit of renunciation. And the last is hearing, always hearing about him, chanting about him, and as I mentioned again, I'd like to mention straightforwardness. The straightforwardness is very important, Srila Prabhupada says, and also compassionate to all living entities. Srila Prabhupada quotes the example of Shivananda Sena in the purport, like how he was compassionate to the dog while he was going from Gaudadesh to Jagannath Puri, and he was taking the dog, and the dog finally went back to Godhead, and he just made sure that he's coming always and he gets prashadam and things like that. For the compassionate to living entities, Srila Prabhupada quotes the example of Shivananda Sena. So if we do all these things, these are the instructions of our acharyas, our previous acharya Srila Prabhupada, then we can come out from these modes and while performing our devotional service. So we can pray to Radha Madhav, to Panchatattva, that always please help me to progress in my devotional service, to pure devotional service. Anyabhilashita shunyam jnana karma dhanavratam anukulyena krishnanu. This anukulyena krishnanu, pleasing the Supreme Lord. Sheelanam bhakti uttama. That is a definition for pure devotional service, Rupa Goswami says. And also, anukulyasya sankalpa, pratikulasya varjanam. What is favorable for devotional service, let me perform. And what is unfavorable for devotional service, let me reject. This comes in 6 types of surrender. And having this Madhvacharya quotes this verse from Brahma Vaivarta Purana, that it says that the responsibilities, one has to do his responsibilities. The famous words from the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, I says, Guru na sasyat, svajano na sasyat, janani na sasyat, pita na sasyat, namochayete samupeta mrityu. So we all have responsibilities as a mother, as a wife, as a husband, as a teacher, as a guru. So as long as if we don't deliver our dependence from this clutches of material existence, then we are no longer eligible to have this position of guru, mother, teacher, whatever it is. So responsibility means taking all the dependents have to be somehow or other, along with the material responsibility, the main focus should be the spiritual responsibility. How is their devotional life? If that becomes the main focus, then automatically the material things comes over. And Srila Prabhupada also mentions here in this purport, the very first line, in the material world, the conception of self-preservation is the first law of nature. In the material world, one has to protect himself. Then the extensions like family, society, everything. But Srila Prabhupada also mentions that this is ajnana, because it is like saving the body. In the material world, what happens? We are neither saving the body nor saving the soul. We are continuously in the cycle of birth and death. And that is why it is called as Ajnana. And so the self-preservation of the soul, which means saving the soul, means devotional service. And that's why we saw in the beginning, Atmaha, it should not be a soul-killing civilization. So devotional service is very important, and we understood, that is why we have taken up Krishna consciousness. But how to do devotional service without getting affected with the three modes? This is what we discussed. And Kapiladev gave enough instructions how to transcend these three modes when we perform our devotional service. So with this, I would conclude this session of Bhagavatam. And thank you so much. If any corrections, questions, comments, please welcome. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. The devotional service in the mode of ignorance, you mentioned it is when you're angry. How do you get out of this anger mood when you're doing devotional service? What causes this anger, and how do you get out of it?
Anger also, sometimes what happens is we don't perform devotional service alone. There is conjoined effort in while doing devotional service. Sometimes what happens, I have something to do, like this devotional service, I feel that, okay, this has to be done in this way. But the other person does another way. So then what happens, I get disturbed. Then I become angry. My focus is not there that this service is to please Krishna. There my motive is there. It is, the predominancy is not devotional service. The predominancy in doing the devotional service is according to my way it has to go. It is not according to what the acharyas have said. It is not according to the spiritual master has said. There a personal motive of mine is there. How you did this, like this is what I told you. Why you didn't do like this? That my personal motive is there while doing this devotional service. Then disturbance, then angry. And angry also comes from fault finding. So in that way it is angry. Because there the focus is not to pleasing Krishna. While the focus is pleasing Krishna, then what happens is, okay, this devotee is doing this service in a certain way. We don't take it as easy. So how it is not done in my way as I thought, then I become angry. Then it is devotional service in the mode of ignorance. I think it satisfies you. And if any corrections, please correct me.
So if you're doing some devotional service and somebody is bothering you, so what is the best thing to do? Just go and find some other service?
Prabhu, wherever we go, we can't expect any disturbance while performing devotional service, because that is the test. We may feel, okay, this service is not, there are so many disturbances I get. Okay, let me take up this service. And what is the guarantee that there is no disturbance in that service? Everywhere there is disturbance. For example, in the fourth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Prithu Maharaj pastimes. So in the fourth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Prithu Maharaj pastime, Prithu Maharaj was supposed to perform he was about to perform the 100th heart sacrifice. Indra came and disturbed him. And finally what happened, I just want to give an example. Like there are two children for a parent. One is very adjustable, the other one is adamant. As a mother, the child, the mother will advise the child who is very adjustable, who is very nice. The mother will say, you know about that person, no, just leave and go. You go and just do with your duty. The same way, Prithu Maharaj, what happens, like when Indra came and disturbed him, the Lord came and pacified, he just pacified Indra, like Prithu Maharaj was not disturbed. So like Indra was like in that sense adamant shy, and Prithu Maharaj was not. So Prithu Maharaj was like, he didn't bother even though he was not able to perform the 100th sacrifice. So that by doing that 100th sacrifice, like for example, by doing this service, am I going to go back home, back to Godhead? That should be the motive. So if it is done in this way only, I can be able to go back to God. This nowhere is mentioned. Devotional service has to be performed, which is in line with the previous acharyas and the spiritual master. And the detail, we have to see the principle, not the detail. Many times we are stuck with the detail. So in this detail, I wanted to perform this service. So this is not done. Then we get angry, we get disturbed. Because that we are satisfied. There is also a little bit of sense gratification. Okay, I planned this way, so everything goes. So then I feel that satisfaction. My focus is not satisfying Krishna. Then I become angry. Then fault-finding mentality. So I think that satisfies. Thank you. So any other questions? Yes.
Thank you for your class. I really liked how you were emphasizing how we should perform devotional service and to cultivate certain qualities. Like there's the book, the 26 Qualities of a Vaishnava. So this is the most important thing that I could, in performing our devotional service, that I could understand you were expressing through your class. Would you like to elaborate on it, or I appreciate
Yeah,
it
like
very
how to
much.
elaborate these
Yeah,
things to perform, to go towards pure devotional service.
Yes, to cultivate.
So that is what we discussed, the Kapila Shiksha, that there are 4 slokas. I can tell you the numbers, which verse it is. Yeah, sorry. So which verse it is. So I can give you the reference if you want now or later. Like what are these things are mentioned in 4 verses continuously. Kapila mentions this 3rd chapter, 29th verse. Verse number 8 is pure devotional service in the mode of ignorance. 9 is pure devotional service in the mode of passion. 10 is devotional service in the mode of goodness. Then later 6 shlokas, how to come out from these modes and progress towards devotional service. When we read the translation and the purports of Srila Prabhupada, it explains very clearly how we can progress towards this. And definitely there will be lots of tests from the Lord, because it's not so, pure devotional service is not so cheap that just by doing everything 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and tick marks, it's not so easy. There will be definitely disturbances, and certainly I'm not in a position to pray like Kunti Maharani, give me so many troubles so that I will be able to see the Supreme Lord in every step. Definitely there will be disturbances, but we make tasmat ekena manasa, with one pointed attention, we focus on pure devotional service. If that is the focus, and if by the mercy, that is called as something called as Kripa Siddhi, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, by the mercy of our previous acharyas and spiritual master, by the mercy of all the Vaishnavas, one day I'm sure that we will reach the destination of pure devotional service.
That brings up a question. So how do we develop the 26 qualities of a devotee while performing our devotional service?
Main hearing and chanting, association of Srila Prabhupada's purport. Srila Prabhupada directly speaks, though as a 2nd generation devotee we don't have a chance to meet him personally, but that Vani is there. We can hear his lectures. No one is stopping us from hearing his lectures. No one is stopping us from reading his purports. Vaisheshika Prabhu was mentioning that every day we can read like 40 pages of Srimad Bhagavatam. So in that way we will finish the Bhagavatam in 1 year. So in that way we are constantly in association with Srila Prabhupada, and also all the 12 Mahajans from through Bhagavatam. And Srinivasacharya mentions Sankhya Purvaka Nama Gana Natibhi. Regularly attending, Prabhupada gives the program, sandwich program he has given for us. attending Manglarti, Darshanarti, Guru Puja, Bhagavatam class, and Bhagavatam class is an important thing. But sometimes what happens if we mention Bhagavatam class doesn't come under the. No, I hear from at home, like, it's sorry to mention, but sometimes I hear from my spiritual master. That Prabhupada would have said, like, you hear from a spiritual master from your own homes, there is no need for Bhagavatam class. But Bhagavatam class is a part of our program. It's very important that we attend the Bhagavatam class. Because we are hearing the messages of Bhagavatam, not forget about the speaker. We are hearing from the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam where the great stalwart devotees are speaking about the Lord, the pastimes of the Lord. So in this way, definitely we can progress. And the effort has to be done from our side, and the mercy comes from the acharyas. But the taking effort is important. Thank you so much for giving me an opportunity. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, ISKCON Guruvrinda ki jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.